Hello everyone, back to today's second video. So we're in the 5-day forecast, and you'll find the video to that on the home page, and the written version gets out from the buttons at the top of the page. It's going to be an unsettled 5 days ahead, especially so for the north. Actually, today's wettest in the south, but 5 days overall will be most unsettled up in the north. I'll let you check out 5-day forecast, see what's happening. This is the August month ahead forecast, so we're going to attempt to do a forecast for August in terms of what might happen for this month. It's going to be quite a tricky month to pin down, I think. Again, it's been a very difficult summer to forecast for. The models, well, I'll talk you through models in a moment, but whether we agree with the signal from the long-range models is going to be the big question. We'll have a recap on July, and we'll also have a sneak peek at the end for September. After this afternoon, we'll have a look at the weather next week, 10 days, in today's third video. So, the July forecast, I don't think it's gone too badly for the south, perhaps not quite as good for the north. We haven't got the figures in for July yet, unfortunately. Even the CT hasn't updated yet, sadly, at Hadley. There's a bit of a delay on getting the final numbers through. As of the 30th of July, so 1 day remaining, the CT was standing at 17.1, an anomaly of 1 degree above average. I say that was provisional up to the 30th. Now, regardless of this July forecast, if you remember, the models last month were all sort of indicating quite a coolish month, and the gas over this forecast kind of went against that a little bit and said I think we'd have another warmer than average month. Quite an unsettled month was predicted, particularly to the north and west, less so for the south and the southeast. Now, we have come out warmer than average for the CET region, certainly. We said we'd probably have a temperature anomaly of around 1 degree above average, but possibly couldn't rule out the chance of a significantly hotter month than that. Looked like early part of July we might be on course for a significantly hot month, but then the final 10 days or so turned rather cool and changed, and that's carried on through into August. So, I think we are going to come out warmer than average for England and Wales, probably a little bit cooler than average, though, further north, and it's probably been a little bit more unsettled than anticipated. Even in the south, I think we probably have a slightly more unsettled month than anticipated, and it's been a very poor month further north. So, I'm not sure the July forecast was that good, really, although the temperature anomaly that we predicted for England and Wales won't come out too far away from what we forecast, but I don't think we can really call it a hit, this one. There's a lot of things that went a little bit awry as the month went along. It's been a really difficult summer to forecast for this one. As I say, we'll keep waiting for the CET to be updated with July's final number at Hadley, and also in a day or two's time we should get through the UK-wide stats for July as well, so it'll be interesting to see exactly what has happened for this past month as far as the UK is concerned. Right, let's move on to August then, and this is the CFS V2 700 millibar height anomaly for August. And quite different from what we've had through the summer so far, because we have got hints of above average heights here around southern Greenland and Iceland, which, if you know your weather, in summer that's not going to be a very good signal, because what happens is that you get a trough underneath it, and the CFS is placing that trough just to the west of the UK. You have got a rather hot ridge here down in the southeastern part of Europe, so summer looks like it's going to be departing into the southeast there. That's taking the heat out of North Africa into southern and eastern parts of Europe. But for us, actually, we've got hints of a bit of a southerly tracking jet stream going through here, and this blocking is probably feeding down quite cool air into that trough as well. So this is a cool and unsettled looking signal for August from the CFS V2. And the temperature anomaly backs all this up. So for southeastern parts of Europe, it's coming out as a hot month there. But in the north and western part of Europe, it's coming out as a cooler than average month, especially for England, Wales, Ireland and northern parts of France. That's one of the classic balancing acts that you tend to see with the climate and with weather, that when the southeast of Europe is doing one thing, the northwest of Europe will tend to be doing something else. Typically, in winter, it will be a case that the southeast of Europe is very cold, the northwest is very mild. In this scenario, actually, the heat is in the southeast of Europe and the northwest is cool. So the upshot is that CFSV2 is forecasting basically a cooler than average month through the UK. For precipitation, for rainfall, that is also coming out above average. Overall, it looks like an unsettled month for many northern and western parts of Europe, significantly drier than average in the southeast of Europe, where we've got all this red just here. So summer is departing after a warm start to the summer for the northwest of Europe. Summer is departing, by the look of it, to the southeast, where it's going to be a hot and dry month. In the north and west, we're facing maybe a slightly early autumn, really. Quite a cool and unsettled, wet-looking August, if CFSV2 is correct. What about the Beijing Climate Centre? Well, these are 500 millibar heights broken down into 10-day periods. The first 10-day period taking us from today, the 1st, through to the 10th. Of August. We find we've got an area of below average heights setting up over the UK. There's the hints of above average heights to the northwest as well. That hot ridge is over in the southeast of Europe. So certainly for the first 10 days, the two models are in agreement. We're bringing the jet stream through, so it looks unsettled the first 10 days of August. And by the northern blocking, we're feeding quite cool air into that trough as well. We go through to the next 10-day period, and that one is also looking quite unsettled. The trough isn't as deep, but it's still there in the 500 millibar flow over the UK. We've got this area of above average heights in the Atlantic stretching out to the north. And again, we're probably entrenching quite cool air into that trough also from the 11th to the 20th. And then days 21 to 30, which takes us from the 21st through to the 30th of August, right to the end of the month. So this one, again, we have above average heights to our west, also to the southwest to some degree, below average heights up to the northeast. This isn't as unsettled, but it will still be quite cool. River flow is still coming in from off the Atlantic. That hot region would deliver us hot weather that is still over there into the east of Europe, pumping up hot southerly winds into the east. So it looks like a classic month, this, for the north and west of Europe to be cool and unsettled, the south and the east of Europe to be hot and dry. The upshot of this is that the overall 500 millibar height anomaly for the month as a whole, this is days 1 to 30, looks unsettled, below average heights over the UK, above average heights out to the northwest, and we're doing something like that with the flow and the jet stream, so quite a cool signal, unsettled signal for the month. So, temperature anomalies for August with the Beijing Climate Centre. They're coming out cooler than average. When was the last time we saw a signal as strong as this for a cooler than average month? And for rainfall, that is also coming out significantly wetter than average for August as well. So a really dismal August coming up. If this is correct, if these two models are correct, we are in for a very, very poor August. The question is, do we believe it? Because if we go back to the CETs, we can see that we have had a very, very warm 2017. Every month, I've talked about this in videos a lot, every month, except for January, which came out, let's say that came out average, but every month since January has been warmer than average by a degree or more. Now, July, I don't think July will be quite up to a degree above average, but it will still be warmer than average when we get the final stats through. So, the question is, do we believe that this August is going to be our first cooler than average month of the year? So we've had some other models that we looked at yesterday. We looked at the Kansas model. That's also going cooler than average for this August. So it appears, certainly from a long range models, it appears to be quite a strong signal. I'm just wondering whether, because we are starting off on quite a cool note, and I'm wondering whether these long range models are kind of overreacting a bit to what's happening in the shorter range. We're going to have a cool start to August, most definitely. First week we'll be coming out with a cooler than average anomaly. And I'm just wondering whether these long-range models are overreacting a little bit to what's happening as we're starting the month. I'll be surprised if August is as bad as these models are suggesting. I think at times the Azores will still have enough of an influence to bring some warmer conditions, particularly down to the southern part of the country. But I think we do have our best chance at a cooler than average month that we've had for a very long time. But in the final analysis, I'm not actually going to predict a cooler than average month. I'm going to go against the models again to some degree and say average to maybe ever so slightly warmer than average. I don't think it'll be a big anomaly. I don't think it'll be as much of a degree. Maybe 0.2, 0.3 of a degree above average. So let's say we around average. This is for England and Wales. For Scotland, probably Northern Ireland, I think we do have a chance of a cooler than average month up there. But for England and Wales, I think the Azores will still just about have enough of an influence to bring at times some quite warm weather to the south. But I don't think it'll be as hot as it was earlier in the summer. If it is, it'll only be very fleeting, and I would expect overall we are in for quite a changeable month, which means that precipitation could well come out on the wetter than average side, and again particularly so for the northern part of the country. For the south, probably drier, but even here I think we will get some fairly significant rainfall coming through at times. There will be drier interludes. I would suspect one of those could occur around the middle part of the month, where it could be drier and warmer, and then again perhaps towards the end of the month, late August, and then following through to September is normally a very reliable time for warm, dry weather. So I suspect later in month, towards the end of the month, may turn warmer and drier then. But overall, quite a coolish, quite a changeable month, and only just coming out at perhaps a little bit on the warm and average side down in the south. This is bad news for gas over this summer forecast, by the way, which we'll be talking about, of course, when we do the analysis for verification when we get through to September. Talking of September, just have a very quick sneak peek at what CFSV2 is showing for September, and on the face of it, again, this isn't very good either, because what it's doing here, it's placing above average heights to our north, well to the north. That looks like northern blocking really, and then it has got below average heights out to the Atlantic, probably with a southerly tracking jet stream again, and through this blocking we'd probably again be bring some quite cool air down into that trough. So that hints perhaps that September could be another cool unsettled month, and by then we may have an even better chance at some cooler than average, having a cooler than average month. So we may be heading into a slightly cooler phase for this year. Have to wait to see on that. Worry about September when we get to it. Coming back to August, finally in the final analysis, we are expecting a fairly unsettled and changeable month. Overall, we think that for England and Wales, probably just about still managing to come out a little bit above average. Right? It could well be quite a struggle. Further north, there is a chance that Scotland and Northern Ireland could have cooler than average month. The precipitation, wettest in the north, driest in the south, but all areas having a changeable August really. And in terms of the month overall, in terms of some warmer weather, maybe middle part of the month, and then right towards the end of the month might be a little bit warmer then. Right, gone on a little bit longer than usual for these month-ahead forecasts because it's a very complicated month, and I want to explain why we're offsetting the signal, because from the models, the signal is very strongly cooler and wetter, really dismal month. And we can't totally discount that, by the way. So if we have a complete washout, and it turns out to be very significantly cooler than average, the models have gone for that. But I think they're going a bit over the top with that, and I think the Azores High will hopefully have a bit more of an influence than these models are suggesting. Right, that's all for now. Don't forget to check out 5 Day Forecast if you haven't done so yet. And later on today, we're going to have a look at when it's week 10 days. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.